All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Left Side View with Rahul and Amitabh. So, Amitabh, how's it going?
Hey Rahul. Hi everyone. Welcome to our midweek matches preview episode of our podcast. We have some tasty affairs this week. So let's get right into it. First, we start off with the EFL Cup semi-finals. Uh, Now, the return leg of Chelsea versus Tottenham is going to take place on Wednesday at the Spurs Stadium. Chelsea won the first leg 2-0, rather convincing win, I must add. So the Spurs must be looking to kind of rebound and take control of this tie. But odds-on favorite, I think Chelsea are still the odds-on favorite. But yes, the home crowd and the home stadium must be a factor in this match as well. I just hope Chelsea do not come to rue the fact that they did not kill the game in the first leg itself, and there is a slimmer of hope for Tottenham to be back in this time. Rahul, your views?
Well, yes, so we have to talk about the fact that Tottenham are actually without Heung Son Min, who's been injured. I think he's out for he's out for a while now. So, yeah, he's going to miss this match along with a lot of the other matches. Uh, Other than that, yes, Tottenham came from behind against, in their match in the FA Cup. And no, they didn't really, I think, rest a lot of players. So, yes, unlike Chelsea, who were able to rest a lot of the players. But yes, like you said, it was just 2-0. So they still have a chance. Uh, I think, yes. And I do feel like the performance that they had in the earlier match, they're probably going to be happy with the fact that they only lost 2-0 because I don't see them having that kind of performance again. So I do feel like, especially at home, this in this match, they are going to turn up and give Chelsea a tough competition. But yes, we have to talk about, like we said, that Tottenham are without Sonmin. Similarly, Chelsea are actually most likely going to welcome back N'Golo Conte and Thiago Silva, who have both tested negative. I'm not really sure if they will start the match because we have to also understand that Chelsea will have an eye on their match against Manchester City in the weekend. So that's another match that Tuchel will be keeping his eye on. But having said that, I think uh, like we said that we have a two-goal cushion. So even if, let's say, we are able to draw this match, we will go through. So I think the idea is to just go through to the final. Uh, Whether we win it or not is a different thing. But yes, obviously, if we manage to win, that would be a great thing. Tuchel was even asked in the press conference about Saul. So he also mentioned that even Saul is someone who is now adapting to the league. He's hopeful that he will continue with this rich vein of form. And I do think some of these players that have not really played in the Premier League will start. The question is whether he continues with a back four or a back five. So yes, I think it's a good thing that even like we are wondering, even uh, Conte and Tottenham will be wondering uh, till the time they see the team sheet. So another interesting way to play mind games. Obviously, it's not up to him because it was down to injuries in a way. He just didn't have the personnel to play a back five because for that you need five defenders. Um, but having said that, yes, like I said, I'm not really sure if Chelsea will win this match, but I do see us going through to the final. What else do you have to say about this match, Amitabh?
Yeah, I mean, the match against City, and that too, it's a lunchtime kickoff on Saturday. So definitely, Tuchel will try to put his best team out, the most fittest team out for that match. So decisions will be made in the Tottenham game, keeping an eye on the City game, and that should be in Tottenham's favor. And of course, the lackluster performance that they produced last week, it
Yeah,
is near impossible that they'll, repeat it.
yeah,
And with the home crowd and all the positive energy, again, the first goal becomes so crucial in matches like this. If Tottenham manage to get the first goal and that too, let's say, pretty early in the match, then they will definitely ride that wave of energy that will be provided by the crowd. Um, yes, some of our players were taken off after the first half against
Chesterfield.
Cheltenham,
Chesterfield.
Chesterfield. Yeah, and Tottenham survived a scare against Morecambe. So, um, again, I don't see actually Tottenham winning this match. At worst, it should be a draw, but of course, as we always maintain that football games are not played on paper. Let's see, looking forward to an exciting match. Moving on to the round.
Just one last thing, I think. So I kind of feel like now that I think even the game against Chesterfield thought Tuchel put out a strong side because he knew that he could make 5 substitutions. So I think it's probably going to be the same thing, that the team that he will put out will be a very strong team. He will try to get the job done in the first half, so that in the second half maybe he can start with those changes. And yeah, because he's probably going to make full use of the 5 substitutions rule in the EFL Cup.
Yeah. Right. Moving on. Now the match that did not happen last week. So now this match becomes Liverpool Arsenal fixture first, and then Arsenal Liverpool. Again, Liverpool survived a scare against Shrewsbury in the FA Cup over the weekend, and Arsenal were actually knocked out by Nottingham Forest. So Arsenal have been riding a rich vein of form of late. The Nottingham result was actually just a spanner in the works, quite frankly. But again, looking forward to an exciting match. Now the fact is that Liverpool's match was postponed the last time around against Arsenal, and somehow they turned up after 3 days and they played a match. And given the rules of quarantine that you have to isolate for 10 days and stuff like that, I don't know how that happened, but let's see what kind of side Klopp is able to put out for this match. Arsenal will definitely try to bounce back after their defeat against Forest, and yeah, again, one of those typical cup matches. I think both the team will be on the offensive, and the higher scorer, the team that will be able to score more goals will go through. Your views, Rahul?
Well, yes. I mean, we have to take into consideration that obviously, like usually, you would expect a reaction from a team if it gets knocked out in the FA Cup by a lower league team, which is what happened with Arsenal, that they lost away to Nottingham Forest. Luis Grabon, the former Aston Villa striker, scored the winner after coming off the bench. So, like we talked about earlier when we previewed this match earlier, I think again, Arsenal need to go all out for this, especially now. I mean, I remember, not really sure who it was, but someone really questioned Arsenal, a journalist or someone, that Arsenal are not City, Liverpool, or Chelsea. So why did they rest so many players? Because obviously for them, they don't have the biggest or the best squad or a deep squad like Chelsea, Liverpool, or not even Liverpool for that matter in that case. But at least they've got someone like Klopp at the helm. But yes, you get my point in a way. So yes, City, Liverpool, or Chelsea. But for Arsenal, I think I mean, again, you're playing away from home, so they shouldn't really have made all those changes. But again, maybe he just wanted to give all those players a chance to impress. But again, it's like it backfired, so now we're questioning the tactics. Had it not backfired, then we would not be doing that. So yes, like we said, that Arsenal need to go all out. And again, especially after the dismal performance against Nottingham Forest, there should be a reaction. There should be a fire in them, to prove people wrong, to put out a performance worthy of the opponent as well. So yeah.
Yeah. Any predictions for this match, Rahul?
So I'm actually not sure if this match is at Anfield or at the Emirates, but yes, I think it does look like it's going to be at Emirates, at Anfield, which is in a way a little confusing. I mean, the whole point of having the second leg at home is just gone now, because now it's the first leg at Anfield, and so in a way it's advantageous for Arsenal.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then yes, uh, I think in that case, Liverpool need to uh, come out strong because they know that the second leg will be at Arsenal Stadium. So if it's, let's say, a draw or something, then Arsenal will have the advantage. Having said that, uh, the reason that this match has been was postponed is because of COVID cases at Liverpool. So I've read a report that some of the clubs have complained to EFL as to why was it postponed, because Liverpool have now confirmed that a lot of the cases that they had were actually false positives, except just one case. So again, I mean, if technically they only had one positive case, they still were able to manage. They still were able to manage to get their game postponed. Again, maybe a topic for a different day. Now that it's postponed, there's nothing that can be done except to play it now. Uh, and I think even Liverpool were able to rest a lot of the players in their match. I think Shrewsbury, if I'm not wrong, in the FA Cup. So yes, I think Liverpool will be up for this game, and as they should be. Simple as that. So my
Yeah, again,
predictions:
one of yes, Rahul, please go ahead.
2-0 Liverpool.
Okay, okay. So before I give you my prediction, I really am puzzled at how someone like Klopp, who was COVID positive on Thursday, how was he allowed to be in the dugout on Saturday? I mean, what kind of therapy medicines are they using that it is safe for someone who has been positive to be amongst everybody else? I mean, if they have some special medicine, they should produce it on a mass scale and provide it to the rest of the world. Um, Coming back to my prediction, I think I think this will be a draw somehow. I'm torn between 1-1 or 2-2, but I
Okay.
think this will be a draw.
Okay.
Okay. Moving on, we also have a couple of Premier League matches. Southampton against Brentford and West Ham against Norwich. Not really a lot to talk about them. Again, the host should have enough for the guests and they should be able to get the 3 points. We'll see what happens and we'll have an opinion on the games in our review show. Um, Now, the Super Cup, the new and improved, at least that is what they'll say, format of the Super Cup. So now, again, one of those ways to mint money by the league officials, the La Liga officials. It is Real Madrid versus Barcelona and Atletico Madrid versus Athletic Bilbao, again at Riyadh. The final will be played on Sunday. The Madrid game is on Wednesday night, and the Athletic game is on the night after. So El Clasico, sort of a forced El Clasico, Rahul, at least in my opinion. Um, Now, given the um, difference in the fortunes of both the teams, um, I mean, I can see only one winner here. And especially with the fact that there are so many COVID cases and injuries where players are missing in Barcelona. Even if Xavi maybe wants to conjure up something, I don't think he has the resources to do that, at least for now. Ferran Torres has been registered for Barcelona, but he might not be available for the semi-finals at least due to COVID issues, I guess. And again, Real Madrid flying high, 4-1 winners over Valencia on Saturday, I guess. So I predict only one winner here. That's Madrid. Rahul?
Well, yes. So obviously, on paper, when you take a look at the fortunes, the contrasting fortunes of both the clubs, yes, Real Madrid are the favorites without a shadow of a doubt. I don't really think even with injuries, I think they're pretty lucky in that case as well. Uh, all their best players are fit. I think in the previous match, I think Carlo Ancelotti has actually left just Gareth Bale and Mariano Diaz, I think, out of the squad. So obviously, uh, like we talked about in the previous podcast, as long as uh, Vinicius Junior and Karim Benzema are fit for Real Madrid. I think the rest, they can chop and change. Whereas when it comes to Barcelona, I think even there's another name added to the casualty list. Eric Garcia has been ruled out because of an hamstring issue for 5 weeks. On top of that, obviously, like we said, that Ferran Torres has been registered, but I think he's had a COVID positive, so not really sure again if he will be able to test negative by then. Uh, Similarly, even if he does, he hasn't really played in a while because even when they signed Ferran Torres, he was already injured for Manchester City. So I don't really think he's played in a couple of months. So either way, like even if he does play some part, I don't see him start this match. Uh, Other than that, yes, Samuel Umtiti maybe could come into contention because he has just signed a new contract. So I know that Eric Garcia is missing, but then there's still Gerard Piqué, Clement Longley, Samuel Umtiti. So they still have some options. I know that they had a lot of injuries a week or two ago, but at least it's a little better for them now because they do have a big squad, bigger squad in fact than Real Madrid. Because uh, when Javi has come in, he is not he has not only tried to accommodate all the players, the first team players, but he has actually included a lot of La Masia graduates, a lot of the academy players. So in a way, at least in terms of numbers, they do have a big squad. And yeah, like we said, that I think it's only in England in Premier League. Otherwise, other than that, in all the competitions, you would see the five substitutes rule. So and it's a one-off competition. So I do feel like uh, it's like Tuchel said last season. It's about closing the gap for 90 minutes. Uh, so I'm not really as hopeful. I mean, obviously Real Madrid are the favorites. There's no doubt about that. But I do feel like it's a one-off game, so anything can happen. Especially in an El Clasico, I think in a way, and Javi's first El Clasico as a manager of Barcelona as well. So I'm sure he would like to start on a positive note. I predict a draw for some reason, or at
Draw
least I
and
predict a
then
draw after 90 minutes, and then obviously maybe if there's a red card because uh, that tends to happen in games like these. There's a sending off. So for some reason, it could be a draw after 90 minutes, and then we can see. If it goes to extra time or penalties. Let's see. I'm going a little against the rules of the form book, but yeah, let's see.
yeah, I mean, even if it is a draw for the first 120 minutes, who do you think will go through in the penalty shootout?
In the
So you have to
penalties.
pick a name. This is a semi-final. You can't go away with a draw.
Okay, I'll say that if it's a penalty shootout, then Real Madrid will go through.
Okay, so finally we've reached there. Real Madrid to go through. Okay, okay. Okay, now the next match, Atletico against Bilbao. Let me keep it very short and sweet. I think Atletico will go through. I know I have not been giving them a lot of love of late, but again, semi-finals against, with all due respect, an opponent who are not up to their standards, at least in terms of individual and collective talent. And I think this is one of those games where Simeone's tactics, he will thrive, his team will thrive. Maybe they'll wait for the counter punch. They'll absorb a lot of pressure. But I think this is a match that is tailor-made for a team like Atletico Madrid, especially with the mentality that they have in matches. So, I mean, I think from minute one, they'll be okay to go to penalties. And unfortunate as that is for us neutral fans, it is the truth. And yeah, I mean, I see they have them having enough firepower in front to nick that goal or maybe a couple of goals and go through. So Atletico for me. Rahul?
I mean, again, like we said about Barcelona, so even this Athletic Bilbao team, they actually managed to knock out Real Madrid last season. So we know that. I mean, obviously they're ninth in the table in La Liga table, but when it comes to cup competitions, when it comes to closing the gap for 90 minutes, Athletic Bilbao are capable of doing that and have actually done that. But yes, I think Atletico Madrid, they want to finish in the top four, but they can put that aside, I think, for this match and just focus on this match. Uh, Obviously, on paper, are they the favorites? Yes, they are the favorites. And yeah, I don't really see any injury issues as well either for them. So yes, plus the whole issue of 5 substitutes, I do think that they're going to go through. But Amitabh, I know we're jumping the gun. Even if they go through, do you see them winning the competition? Atletico?
No, no.
No. Okay.
Just as I said that the semi-finals is tailor-made for them, the final is not. Because in final you have to win. In semi-final you try not to lose. Sort of the Italian mindset. And then you see what you can do, what best you can do. In finals, you can adopt that strategy, but that is a risky strategy to adopt, right? That strategy will more often than not give you the results that you desire. So, provided Atletico go through, again, wishful thinking, but they have to play on the front foot, even if it's against Real or Barcelona. Yeah. Moving on. Again, one more Slovan Otra. Sorry. Inter Milan against Juventus, Supercoppa Italiana, and that is the Serie A's version of the Community Shield. Last year's league champions versus the Supercoppa Italia champions. Now both the teams are fresh off wins over the weekend, especially Juventus's win, a comeback win against Roma. But again, I don't want to be like the bearer of bad news or dampen the spirits, but I think it had a lot to do with the fact that they were playing Roma rather than a superlative performance by Juventus. So maybe this match will be a reality check. Inter again flying high, top of the table with a match in hand, and performing well, gelling as a team, something that is really important. So in a one-off match again, we all know that anything can happen, and we have seen stranger things happen than Juventus beating Inter. But again, on paper, the likelihood of Inter winning this, I think, is more. I am going for a 3-1 victory for Inter. Rahul?
All right. Well, yes, a comprehensive victory. Amitabh has predicted for Inter Milan. So yes, we have to take into account that Juventus are actually going to be without Federico Chiesa as well for the entire rest of the season. So that, he's like one of their star players now. Ever since Ronaldo left, he has taken over that mantle of the star player from Cristiano Ronaldo. And now even he's not going to be there. But yes, the word that you use, I think, reality check. I think that's the word that I was also going to use. So yes, I think Inter Milan. I think one thing that could actually maybe in a way work for Juventus and against Inter Milan. In a way, obviously, I think both the managers, Simone Inzaghi and Max Allegri, I think they're not really that good with cup competitions. Having said that, obviously Allegri took Juventus to, I think, the final of the Champions League twice, but then that's the thing, he lost both of those finals. I think Simone Inzaghi, he managed to win the Coppa Italia once with Lazio. But again, I think the focus is always going to be in the league for them. They obviously still have to play Liverpool in the Champions League. But again, it's just as a one-off competition and it's such a big rivalry. And yes, like we said, that since they're going to be without Federico Chiesa, Juventus are going to be without him. So Inter Milan do have, I think they even rested a couple of players, like Edin Dzeko didn't start against Lazio. I think Joaquin Correa was also not there. So I expect those players as well to come into contention. And again, it's like Inter Milan are right now a machine. So yeah, a victory for Inter Milan.
Any score predictions now?
2-0.
Okay. Okay. I think that brings us to the end of this podcast. Again, a lot of fantastic matches to look forward to this week. Thank you so much, guys. We'll be back with a new episode later in the week. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, guys. Thank you.